Poker's legendary champions, next-generation stars, and tireless ambassadors of the game, sharing their wisdom and guiding your journey to high achievement on the green felt. This is Chasing Poker Greatness with your host, Brad Wilson.
Well, hello there, my friend. Welcome to another episode of the Chasing Poker Greatness podcast. As always, this is your host, the founder of ChasingPokerGreatness.com, Coach Brad Wilson. And today's guest on CPG is a prominent YouTuber, Twitch streamer, poker player, thinker, and dreamer, Pamsi Balzano. Pamela's path to CPG comes by way of referral from Brazilian poker superstar Felipe Mojave Ramos. And I gotta say, the man's suggestion was on point. Pamela may not currently be on your radar, and that's because the bulk of her content creation and poker journey is primarily for a Spanish-speaking audience. An audience that, I might add, is quite large. On YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch, she has around 35K followers combined, and that is a number that is growing by the minute. As you're about to learn, she has earned her rabid following by crafting engaging, narrative-driven pieces of content that simply resonates with her fellow human beings. So in today's episode with Pamela Balzano, you're going to learn Pamela's awesome content creation process, her origin story into the world of poker, why this card game is so meaningful to her, and what her future plans hold, and much, much more. Now, without any further ado, I bring to you world-class content creator, Twitch streamer, an amazing, amazing human being, Pamela Balzano. Good morning, Pamela. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm very, very good. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
It's my pleasure. And like I mentioned during the pre-conversation, big thanks to Felipe Mojave Ramos for putting this together. He's just a pretty good guy. I guess that's he's just a good person.
Yeah, for sure. He has a very good heart, and he finished second last week in a WSOP tournament. It was amazing. He was on the stream, so I'm very, very happy for him.
That's good to hear. Always good to hear the good guys making noise in the poker world. Yes. He
deserves it.
He does. He does. He really does. So for yours and I conversation, I would typically start out by asking about your journey. What led you to poker? And after asking this question, 10,000 times so far, I've realized I also need your age to set the timeline so that we know like the years chronologically how everything went down.
Okay, now I am 25 years old, and my poker journey starts when I was like 12 years old because my old brother is a poker player, professional poker player. He used to play chess. He was very, very good at his childhood. And then he started to play poker because of the money, because in chess it is very, very difficult to maybe do that game style of living. So he started to play poker, and he was very good at the beginning, and then he's still very good. And then my journey was funny, I think, because he used to take me to the school, to get me to the school. I don't know how to speak English properly, These things are like, well, and he was always saying and talking to me about hands of poker, like, okay, today I play a hand with ace queen, and this happens, and the guy sees it, and it was a child, and it was.
How old were you two?
12 years old at that time.
You were 12. How much older is he than you?
7 years old. more than
Okay,
me.
so he was 19, you're 12. He's
Yes.
telling his
Yeah.
12-year-old sister about his poker hands on the way to school.
Yeah, it was amazing. So I was always hearing his, his stories about poker and his hands. And well, at that time, I started to play poker, of course, with my friends, with him, most of his friends, because I was a child, so it was a little bit difficult. And well, I learned the rules, and that's it, because I was very, very little. And then when I turned 18, well, sorry, when I turned 15, my brother gave me a camera, a photograph camera, and because I really like to take pictures. I really like to all the by video settings and audiovisual settings, and he gave that camera to me. And when I turned 18, I had a conversation with him like, okay, I really want to do what I like. I like to take pictures, and I also like to travel the world. I really like to do my passion, as you, because when I see him, he was doing what he likes. And he said, okay, if you like to take pictures, you like also poker, because I know you like, and you like to travel the world, you can send a curriculum to a site. In that time, it was Código Poker, like a poker news site in Latin America. And you can start to cover events like a press or like media girl.
Did he have any connections to like helping you get started, or is this just like he's like, yeah, just do this, you'll be fine?
Not really, because my brother was always very, very shy, So of course he knows the names of some guys on that part of the poker world, on the media part, but that's it. He it was very, very funny, because he said, okay, you can send that to Gaston. Gaston is the guy who managed this site, and then I don't know. You can try, but I don't know. He said something like that. And well, I was very, very strong in that way, because I say, okay, I'm going to do this. And I send the curriculum, and well, they call me. They say, okay, you can try to take pictures in a tournament in the Casino of Buenos Aires in Argentina. And next week you can try how it works for you. Okay, and then I went to the casino, I take some pictures, and that's how I started all this amazing thing that I am now, because I can't believe it.
And from that, it's kind of funny, like just a minor suggestion where he has no idea whether it's going to work or not, or what's going to happen, and everything springs forth from that. Tell me about growing up. Why was it so important to you to chase something that had meaning, or that you felt was meaningful, instead of, a traditional career path?
The question is why I decided?
Sure. Like, did you ever have any ideas of a traditional career path? What did your parents think? I mean, now they have one child who's a professional poker player, then the other is sort of following him into the world of poker. What did they think about it?
Well, I think that with the example of my brother, it was very, very easy for me to explain my parents that I want to do a different. I want to professionalize in a different thing than a traditional career,
Mm-hmm.
Because the hard part was for my brother, because it was very, very hard for my parents to understand about the poker world, because it is a different world for most of the people. So it is very difficult to explain that it is a career, and that you can earn money, and you can live as a professional poker player. So at the beginning, it was hard for them. But then the thing that happens that my brother started to earn money very, very young, and he buy his house. So my parents were okay, let's go do this, no problem, because he was very, very like I can't find the word, but
Successful.
yes, and also very clear with with the money. It was very nice guy, yeah, with the thing. So they saw that and they say, okay, there is no danger, in this thing.
Oh,
so
there's danger.
Yeah,
there's danger. They just
sure.
didn't have firsthand experience with the danger.
Yeah. And well, with my story, it was like, hello, Bam, I want to do the same thing as my brother, but in a different way, because I'm always in the communication part of the poker world.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, okay, let's go, no problem, because your brother did that, so maybe it's okay for you too.
When you went to that first tournament series after just like cold emailing Gaston,
yeah.
What were you thinking or feeling like going into the card room? I mean, were you nervous? Was there anxiety?
I was very nervous, a lot of anxiety, and very excited too, because well, at first I take one photography course, so I didn't know anything about taking pictures. I was very, very young. Well, my other works in photography were like birthdays, or 15 birthdays, and that's it. So I was very nervous, but well, I really wanted to follow the same path as my brother. I think that's why it works, because I was very, very passionate with the idea of follow my dreams, of travel the world and know different cultures, people. So I was very decided when I entered to the poker room. I was okay. I will try to do this with my with this passion, and I will do this.
After the first experience, what were you thinking? Was it like, okay, I
No,
really like.
Horrible. Well,
oh, it's horrible.
I'm very no the picture. I'm very like perfectionist. I
Sure.
think it is
Yeah.
okay in English. So I didn't like my pictures, but the experience was amazing, because a poker tournament, a lot of people. It is very, very funny. The breaks, talking to everyone. So that's the good part. Well, then my pictures were better.
Well, to be fair, like a poker player getting their picture taken, I mean, if it's not like you can see like half their face, they're never smile. Like if they do it on their own, it's just like the worst. So it's very hard to do worse than than what we do by ourselves, right?
And they're always like a freeze. So yeah, it is simple, maybe now in a way.
I've had like so many people on the show that have like millions and millions of dollars in winnings and tons of success. And I asked them for like a high res photo of themselves. And they're like, huh? what do you mean? Like, let me go stand outside and have like my girlfriend take a picture of me real fast.
That's it. Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. So maybe the pictures were not so good, but you had only taken one course and had zero experience for this thing, or very minimal, right?
Yeah.
Once you had that experience, though, like I guess tell me the logistical side of this, because I don't even know. Like, how do you get paid, and then like how do you get an assignment? Like, how does this work?
Well, I started as photographer, and in the media team,
Mm-hmm.
So we cover different tournaments at first in Argentina, and then I started to travel to the Latin LAPT, Latin American
Poker tour.
Yeah, poker tour. Yeah, well, I forgot my of poker stars. So it was like the last year of that series, or maybe 2 years to the end. And well, I started to work as photographer, and 2 years later, I started my communicator journey, because I changed a little bit, a lot, I think, my job in the poker world. As I'm saying, I started as photographer, and then I created a YouTube channel, because the main thing was that when I was working on this site, I was always thinking that the style of the communication was very, very hard to understand for my parents, for example, because there are always hands and in a technical language, and it is very, very hard for people that it's outside the poker world to understand this language. So my idea was to explain the poker to newbies, to people that doesn't know anything about the game, and also to share that the poker world is a fantastic world, and it is not a dark world. Of course there are parts, but as any game or any discipline or anything in the world. So I decided to show the poker in a fresh way, in a colorful way, and in a easy way. That's why I started.
It's so I like to say I write a daily newsletter, but I really don't, because I haven't written one in like a month and a half, because like it's a lot of work creating things, more so than I think people think. But one thing I learned really early on, as it relates to like writing emails to people, like in a newsletter format, is like, you don't want to hard teach people. You don't want to like tell them, like go into like granular strategic detail of a hand breakdown, because like, as fun as it is for like professionals, it is not very fun for people who are not professionals. And it's like very dense and hard to read. So like, I realized pretty quickly that like the first goal is to just entertain people and tell good stories about what's going on in the poker world. That's what like grabs people, and leave the, the granular details for other people. But I assume, this is part of the strategy of your YouTube channel of like, let's entertain people. Let's make people laugh. Let's show, kind of like the heart of poker without going deep into like, all the strategic elements of like Pio wants me to check raise here 7% of the time with, it's just like that is just hard to keep up with. So what was your plan when you went into the content creation space? Is it related to like, making money, right? Did you still keep your job taking the photographs, or did you just like dive full deep into the content creation aspect of it?
No, I decided to quit my job and started with the YouTube channel, because I was always very decided when I had an idea. I was always like, okay, this is going to work. I don't know why. So it works because it was very, very different. My channel was at that time like.
Why did you think it was going to work?
Old. Because it was different. It was very creative. It was a different way to communicate, and I think that's why it works. Maybe, of course, it is important your passion, because when you're passionate, you're always showing that in your content or in your everything that you're doing. So it was like 4 or 5, I can't remember, like 5, I think 5 years ago was the beginning of my channel. And it was like not the first, but in Spanish, it was I think it was one of the first, or maybe the first in Spanish, YouTube poker channel, where the videos were like that, like showing in a YouTuber way, showing 5 things that every poker player does on the break, and this kind of videos, and also different blogs, because I still travel to different. Well, at first, not because I doesn't have a sponsor, but then I started to work with 888 as a host, a Spanish host. In Spanish host, and I still travel to different tournaments, and I made some blogs also in this way, showing like the B side of the poker world, not just the poker room. So I think that's why it works, because it was very creative and different, and that's it.
Sure. I mean, the vloggers have pretty much proven that like lots and lots and lots and lots of people want to see like the atmosphere of a place and the cutscenes and like the energy and all this stuff. And then like the strategy is like almost secondary to all the other things and the storytelling aspect. That's what really draws people in. So is this what you're still doing today? Have you dived in and played a lot of poker in the last like 7 years?
Well, when I started to tell my stories, it's funny because I change a lot too. It begins with the photograph thing. Then I start with my YouTube channel, and then my actual thing. I started a Twitch channel because I started my YouTube channel without any idea about strategy in poker, because of course I knew the rules, but that's it. Then when I had to explain something difficult, I message my brother and he explains me, and that's it. So okay, I'm going to do the script with that. And then of course I started to get interest in the poker world, like a last poker player. I think it's obvious because a lot of poker. Okay, let's play, And I wanted to learn more strategy and to do it I think I never think in play poker in a professional way, because I really like to create content. I really like to do this kind of things, video, photographs. So I always knew that I would not have the time, or I don't know, or maybe yes, but I don't want to, because I really like the other part, the part of the content creation.
Sure.
So that's why I found that time Twitch, like 3.5 years ago. So it was journey too, when I decided to create my channel, because I really wanted to learn more poker and also create content. So Twitch is great for that, because you're playing and creating content at the same time. So, well, I decided to start my Twitch channel and to play poker. And well, I'm playing poker now. I'm doing Twitch videos, which is streamings. I leave my YouTube channel because it is a little bit hard to do a lot of things for all the social media, at the same time. And well, now I'm very happy because I'm playing and I'm creating content, and well, I'm learning also.
So the YouTube channel is inactive at the moment.
Yes, not in. I try always to maybe once a month or something like that to upload something, because I really love my YouTube channel. It's like, oh my God, it's like very old now. But yes, it's hard. So yeah, it's almost inactive. Yeah.
So let's dive into the YouTube channel just for a few moments, and then we'll transition to Twitch. You mentioned writing a script. And I'm sure, first and foremost, I'm sure there's listeners in the audience that have considered starting a YouTube channel or starting a poker vlog or something along those lines. I think, firstly, I just want to tell those people, like, make sure that you have a passion for it. I think that this is the first ingredient that is necessary and a requirement, that you're not doing it just for like monetary gain, because I've just found that like if that's your sole driver to do something, it's just not enough. Like Pamela just said, she knew that it was going to be successful because she was passionate about it. And she wasn't passionate about making money from YouTube. She wasn't passionate about any of the other things that sort of happen as side effects. She was just passionate about making good content in a way that resonated with her, and she felt or believed it would resonate with other people. So with that out of the way, for somebody that's interested in creating a YouTube channel, like what are the ingredients logistically that go into the production of a video?
Well, for me, it was a good idea first, and script, because
well, how do you find a good idea? That this will be for, like, I'm sure you have lots of ideas, right? How do you pare them down and find one to chase after?
Oh, it's very good question and very difficult to answer. And well, for me, it was. I think it was easy because all my childhood were in a art school, so I was always creating things, and I had like subjects like creation, so it was very very easy. But I think a good idea it is. It comes to you when I think when you have some experience in the thing that you're going to communicate, just to explain. For example, the experience in tournaments, in poker tournaments, that the all the days in a poker tournament covering I don't know, final table, all the things that happens every time, like cotidiana. Let me see how to say this in Spanish, in English. Yeah, like yeah, daily life, like daily things maybe. So it is like these daily things in a script and in a funny way and in a different way of communication. I don't know how to explain this, but in my head it is it is coherent. So
is it related to possibly your experience and people asking questions or people's observations,
like
paying attention to something?
Exactly.
Yeah, basically you're using your experience as market research to have an idea.
In my case, it was my experience with a plus of funny ideas, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe also it is important to see different content. For example, in YouTube, the YouTuber way to create content. You can get inspiration of a YouTuber of, I don't know, anything super different about poker, but this is very helpful to create the script that they are and to do the video.
Yeah. So we got the idea part. Let's talk about the script. Yes. How does this script creation work?
The script creation for me, also, it was very, very important that I was on an art school because I had a lot of I act in different plays. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Okay. So
we understand acting here in America.
Okay, perfect. No, sorry, because I'm always like this word in English. Sorry, I'm from Argentina, so you know we speak Spanish.
Don't worry, my Portuguese is way worse than your English. I promise.
Okay, so. Well, with the script part was sitting and start to write. That's it. So I didn't have like a formal way to go to write, but yes, I was very very conscious that I had to have like a start, like a conflict, and then the end. This part, it is very important for everything you are doing, I think, because it is my way to communicate, and that was my way to explain the content, the video, in a proper way.
Sure. There needs to be conflict and then inner turmoil and resolution. I mean, just like look at the Pixar movie journey for each of the characters. I think there's a reason why that formula exists, because it resonates with our human minds.
The thing is that it sounds maybe silly, but it is like that because a lot of content, a lot of videos in the internet, they're very hard to understand because they're not script, and it is like people recording, I don't know, anything, you know.
Yeah, just so, they're random thoughts.
Then that's it. So in my mind, I think it is better to have a script like that.
For sure. And so how do you go about editing your script, and then how do you go about performing? Because I assume that like things that you write don't always go so well in practice, and then you're iterating and changing.
Well, I work with an editor, and he was very, very good. And also
video or the script editor? Video.
Yeah, video editor. So it was super important to do all the work, because it is very, very hard to do everything on my own. So I think it's very important to have a video editor.
Yeah. And a lot of, I mean, a lot of the content creation process is the editing aspect of putting all the pieces together in a way that looks professional and flows and makes sense.
On a script, I was always thinking about the edition part, always, because it's, as you say, it is very important because it's a part to explain the story. Mm-hmm. Very crucial part. So that's a lot of that's very important also on the script to write on the script.
And important for the editor to understand what you want as well. So you have to be on the same page. How did you go about finding an editor for your YouTube videos?
No, it was always like, you know, I work in a media, I worked in a media
environment.
Thank you. So it was easy for me to find the persons to work together. Luckily, because sometimes it's hard.
Yeah, for the listener, do you have any suggestions if they needed to find a decent video editor? What would they even look for?
Sorry, again.
If somebody in the audience wanted to find a decent video editor and they're not in the communication space, what would you suggest?
Twitter. I think Twitter is great to find people. For me, it was the proper social network to find people to work. So
just tweet.
That's the point. Tweet, yeah. I'm looking at a video editor. That's it.
Yeah.
And of course, you will receive a lot of people that maybe you don't like, but then you will find one, I think.
And if you do tweet about it, feel free to tag me on Twitter and I'll retweet your search for the perfect video editor to we can amplify and see that it gets done. Yeah. Cool. So then after the editing process, then it's just uploading it, writing the descriptions, titles, tags, all that, sending it out there. What's some, I know that in my own experience, we engage with our audience. We tend to know who our audience is. I assume that on Twitch, it's a lot more familial than YouTube. Yeah.
But sure, yes.
Yeah, tell me about audience interaction on YouTube. Is there anything surprising about your YouTube journey?
My audience was always very kind. I was always very grateful with that because I know that there are a lot of other games on other environments in your world where people is very hard on there are a lot of haters and maybe a bad energy, but my community is great because I don't know why. I don't know why exactly. Maybe because they of course they really like me and they really like my way to communicate, but also I think as you said, we are like a family. I have followers from the beginning until now, and they are always following all my content. So incredible. I think that's incredible. And I was always very happy with my videos because I had a lot of comments and people super happy about the videos, and so super good.
I have thoughts on that, by the way, as to like why your audience specifically was supportive for you. And my thoughts are, and I didn't think about this until somebody in my community actually brought it to my attention, because like I had said something on the podcast. I can't remember what it was, but I said something. And then after I said it, I was like, I wonder if I just like alienated a segment of my audience by saying something. It wasn't even controversial. It was just like a hard opinion. I think probably related to like treating people like shit when you're playing poker against them or something like that. And it wasn't that. Anyway, doesn't matter what it was. But basically, I brought that up to him and I was like, maybe I'm like alienating myself from a segment of my audience. And he just said like, Brad, your audience, your community, the people that follow you are there because of you. Like they're there because of your beliefs, your values, what you stand for, your energy, all of these things. So like, if you change who you are, you change, like you lower the level of the community, the people that naturally filter in. And, there's an expression that like your vibe attracts your tribe. And I genuinely believe that. You have a good vibe, you're positive, you have values, you're energetic, you're uplifting. That's typically going to be the type of people that you attract because that's who you are. And the people who are shitty people probably are repelled by that. So they go to a different channel, you know?
You're right. Yeah. And also it is important to say it. Thank you for telling me this, because we live in a world where always people and content creators and everyone are trying to do the same, you know. If someone do a TikTok challenge, okay, a lot of 1 million people in a TikTok channel. And I think for me, this is not the way, because as you said, being as you are, it's okay. So it's important to keep that in mind, to keep doing as the things as we are doing.
I 100% agree. And you know, in my own experience, like I guess in my poker career, the thing that I've always relied on is my ability to trust my intuition and trust myself, even if my intuition sort of takes me out on a limb that other people may not be comfortable on or may not be willing to go on. And as it related to content in the beginning, you know, you read a lot of strategic stuff. And then what you find through all your reading is like, just do what other people are doing that's popular and you'll be popular too, right? And as a human, this doesn't really resonate with me because like, I don't really just want to do what everybody else is doing because I think that like they're doing it well enough already. What do I have of value to add? So I think in that respect, again, for the listener, if you want to do something that's a little out there, it's a little different, just do it, you know, trust yourself, because like, again, that's where passion comes from. And then you're singular. And when you're singular and unique, that draws people in because there's nobody else like you. And really in the content space, that's the secret weapon of everybody, is that like you are a unique human being, and let your personality out, because like that's something nobody else can really replicate.
Exactly. I think the same as you.
Cool. So glad that we agree.
Yeah.
You survived pre-flop boot camp. You've shot the fish in a barrel. Now, prepare yourself for the feeding frenzy. A comprehensive strategy for gutting every fish in your player pool. Data-driven hero bluffs, light call-downs, and perfect value bets that are maximally designed to hurt some feelings. Feeding Frenzy. Available now at chasingpokergreatness.com/feeding frenzy.
So now we'll move to Twitch, right? So this journey into Twitch that started, you said 3 years ago?
3.5, or maybe, no, 3 years and some months.
And Twitch is a lot different than YouTube for a variety of reasons. Number one, there is no script.
No script at all. And it is difficult to work as a streamer as it is difficult to work as YouTuber. Difficult in a way that it is you're always tired, because it is hard to have always new ideas, to have always new scripts, you know. And in Twitch it is the same, because I think in a way, because you are always, you need to be always doing like entertainment to the audience, you know. And it's hard because, you know, we are humans, so it's hard sometimes because you have to be there like a lot of hours playing poker, and sometimes it's hard because poker, it is you know what it is, you got tilt, or maybe you don't like how to play how you played that hand, and it is hard because you have a camera in front of you always, and you have to, I'm as I am, so when I get angry, so I get angry in the camera, no problem. But I know that it is difficult, maybe sometimes, to manage, and it gets for me time to understand that. And I think that I'm super different than when I start my Twitch channel. Now I am more like relaxed, I'm more like, okay, this is poker, and okay, no problem if I'm not always speaking on the camera, because I'm a human being, so I can't speak like 8 hours and playing and
Sure.
doing everything, so it was a different journey, but it was amazing, because I think that we are always learning in life, everything that we are doing. So in this way, I learn a lot too.
It streaming for me, what's interesting about me is like I'm naturally introverted. So I like time by myself. And like when I'm streaming, and like you said, there's this pressure to entertain while also doing something very intense that takes a lot of cognitive energy, which is play poker, or play winning poker. I guess you could not spend any energy and just play losing poker, and that would be okay. But you're also on a delay, which complicates things for me, because like there's no, you say something and then it takes 3 minutes to go through, or 4 minutes, and then what I find is I'll say something and somebody will respond 4 minutes later, and I can't even remember what I said.
Same, of course, because in the middle you play like 5 hands, and it was like, oh, I can't remember, but yes, sure.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's very difficult. So streaming for me, I found, is like draining on a level that almost nothing else is, where playing high intensity and interacting and trying to like be engaging or entertaining all at the same time, it's not really for me. It just wears me out. Like I'm 3 hours and I'm like, I need a nap. Yes. Nobody talk to me. Everybody leave me alone. Same.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I learned from that, I think, because for example, it is super important to Twitch, to do streamings when you really want to do that. Because when you're like not in your mood, and it's a hard day or something happens, you will be there doing a horrible work and playing horrible too, and it will be also horrible to the viewers, because they are there to see you in a good way, or maybe, of course, you can get angry, but not from the beginning, like in a bad mood. So I think it is very important to do streaming when you really want to do, and to be conscious about yourself, about your how you feel, and maybe that's the point.
And how do you have a process for that? Like if you're planning on streaming and you wake up, like how do you check in with yourself and realize this is not a thing I should do today? Because
I feel bad. Maybe I'm not feeling with good energy. I'm like, or maybe I'm tired. I didn't sleep well. These kind of things. Also, maybe the food, because I didn't take breakfast, or I didn't go to buy food. So that kind of things are very important for me. So I'm always trying to get that okay to do a good streaming day.
You need to have everything in line so that you can do a good job. What's been surprising? So let's just reflect a little bit on your journey through poker right now, and what's been the most surprising thing that's come from your journey in the world of cards thus far?
1 week ago, well, I don't know why I'm saying this, but it comes to my mind. 1 week ago, Daniel Negreanu raided my channel on Twitch. So it was incredible, because it was very important for me that, it is the most popular guy in the poker world. And I remember in that moment, I remember myself when I was 18, like taking a horrible picture. And it was like, oh my God, well, 7 years of career, get results, and now I'm representing GG Poker, I'm doing streaming, and then Daniel Negreanu knows who I am, and he sends a raid. So it was a very, very good surprise, and I can't believe it yet, I think. And then another one, when like 2 years ago, I did a drama live about Doyle Branson. I draw his, my best friend actually draws his story. I did the script, and he retweets the tweet, and he also says something like, if I could, like give an Oscar to something, to some video, it will be to your video, something like that. It was, oh my god, I can't believe it. So that those two moments were like super surprising for me.
I mean, it's really awesome to have these sort of points in your career where you can reflect on where you started and how far you've come and where you're at today. And then, the next clear question in this sequence is what's on the table in the future? Do you plan on streaming for a while, or do you think there's going to be time for a change?
It's funny because I never have an answer to that question. Never. Like I don't know how to answer. And my whole career were very, different moments, different for me, different ideas, different ways to communicate. So. Well, I think I'm going to change something for the future. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, actually, let's ask a better question then. Let's ask a better question and say, what have you felt previously that has led to you changing formats and changing the journey that you're on?
Get bored, I think.
Say that again?
Get bored, I think. Because I really need to do different things because I get bored. Maybe I really like the way I do it, but okay, that's it. I need to change that. I think that's the point for me.
Are you ever nervous when you get bored and then change to do something that's like, a new frontier where, you didn't know whether streaming was like going to work or not before you tried it, right?
Yes, of course. I'm very anxious in that part of my life, but I think I like that also. That's why I'm always trying to do different things.
Same, yeah. That anxiety is just energy, right? And like when you do something that is boring and doesn't really give you any anxiety or give you that energy, we can just like get caught up in this malaise where things are just kind of boring and you feel like maybe you're wasting your life energy, and you need to do something that, excites you, right?
Yes, exactly.
Cool.
So maybe next week I will be doing, I don't know, videos about cooking,
Do you think poker is going to be a part of your professional journey indefinitely?
No, I don't think so. Yes, of course, I'm going to have the poker part in my life always because I really like the game. I really like the environment. I'm always saying that word now, but not sure because when I was a child, I was always saying my mom, "Okay, I want to dance, I want to sing, I want to act." I really wanted to do a lot of different things, and I really like different things. I really like reader. I really like science. I really like a lot of things. So I'm not sure about that. Maybe yes, but I don't know if working in the poker world for, I don't know, indefinitely.
Yeah, I think this is the one sadness that I have about life experience is that I don't get to try everything. Like there's just not enough time to try all the things that I would love to try to do. So we have to be kind of selective. And I think to your point, life is too short to be stagnant and feel unhappy with what you're doing for an extended period of time. And you only get so many life experiences. And yeah, it may be nerve-wracking, it may be scary, but like you would rather try them out then wonder what could have been had you tried them out. And I think that's just a very important part of the human experience and our journeys through, this plane of existence.
It was like incredible to hear you, because I think the same. We have a very short life. We need to be selective, but also I think my one of my passions is to experience different feelings, to get excited, to get surprised, to learn a different, I don't know, to read a book that it is like a haha moment in your mind. Those kind of things are the important thing in my life.
Absolutely. Cool. So we can transition now to sort of the lightning round aspect of the conversation. Have you had any inner struggles or negative self-talk in your poker journey? And if so, how do you deal with those and then recover, get back to baseline?
Yes, especially when I play poker, because I am very perfectionist, as I said. So it is very difficult to be like that playing poker, because poker, it is huge. You have to learn a lot of things, and it's very difficult to understand sometimes that we are humans, so we are not sober. So poker, it is a very master in my life, because I'm always learning from poker, not also poker, from poker.
Sure.
So like discipline, like be patient, like you are going to make mistakes, and that's it, and be friendly with you. So I think that's the most difficult part to learn poker.
Yeah, it's another great life lesson that poker teaches us is that like you can make all the right decisions with all the right information that you have, and like it doesn't work out, and like you can't like try to go back and reverse engineer with like what you know now. It just, what happens, and
Exactly.
The only thing we can do moving forward is the best that we can always. And in poker, like, a question that people in my community or private coaching students will ask is like, was there any way that I could fold here? Which I think is like a very poor question, because what they're trying to say is like, how do I avoid the pain of this loss in a situation where they most likely just did the best they could with the information that they had? And, in our own lives, this could mean being young, marrying the wrong person, and changing your mind and getting divorced. Like as you get older, it could just mean a wide variety of things. And like, don't beat yourself up on doing the best that you can and then learning something new and changing down the road, because I think that like this is part of the growth, just the human growth process.
Yes. Well, it's great to hear the part about the folding. It is incredible, because poker is like life. Every time you play a hand is like your life, and it is amazing the importance. We all know that it is not a huge importance, but there is variance, like life.
Sure.
You're
Yep.
always in front of the variance in your life. So poker is amazing in that way, because it's always teaching you everything.
Yeah. It also is kind of, it can be a jerk sometimes, but that's a different story for a different day. When you think about joy in your career playing cards, and you may have addressed this with the Negreanu and the Doyle situations, but when you think of joy, like a joyful memory, what's another memory that comes to your mind?
Oh my God, a lot of memories. I think that's why I decided to keep doing all this poker thing in my life, because I have a lot of memories. Most of the memories in trips, in maybe World Series in Vegas, also in Bahamas, in a lot of different countries, with different people sharing like a meal, sharing breakfast, sharing a bad bit, Uh, I really like to share. That's why I really like poker also, because it's great to talk with people, to know different cultures, I don't know, to understand why they are playing like that or why they are saying that, So I I can't remember like one moment, but yes, I will say different trips with my team and also with different poker players in the field.
Yeah, give it about like 4 or 5 hours, and one will come to you, and you'll be like, "Ugh, why? It's
Yes, of
so
course.
obvious."
It was like, oh my god, that yeah, for sure.
We didn't talk about your traveling because this was a part, something that was meaningful to you, being able to travel around, one of the draws to entering poker. So, how has your experience been traveling the world to different poker tournaments been?
Amazing, incredible. Poker is the reason why I travel the world. So I'm super grateful about that. And I travel a lot in Latin America, and then I travel also well to the World Series twice, and to Europe sometimes, but mostly in Latin America was most of the tournaments, and I I found it incredible because it is always well surprise. It is a surprise. You go to a different city and you don't know how it is. Just maybe a picture and that's it. And it is always very different about what people say about that place. But well, for in my case, I don't know. It's different to live the experience yourself. So that's why I really like travel too.
Absolutely. And you just kind of made me think about something that, like, doing these podcasts is very similar to that, because you don't know people really. You know people on a superficial level from the outside
Yeah.
looking in. And it's not until you really interact and engage and spend time with them that you're like, really have that feeling that you know them, you know? And I think that, like, that's another part of this podcast that I'm very grateful for, because it's like you said, you're traveling to different locations, and like from the outside, you have one feeling. Once you get there, you have another opinion. And like, as it relates to connecting with different human beings, I think that's absolutely the same too.
Exactly.
Which is one of the reasons why I love doing this podcast so much, is just connecting
Yes.
with awesome people in the poker world. All right, so if you could wave a magic wand and change one thing about poker, what would you change?
One thing about poker. This is a question that I'm always doing to different people, but not for myself. So now I am the other side, and it's hard. Uh, well, it comes in my mind to maybe I would like poker not to be in the casino. I don't like casinos really,
How come?
really much. Uh, Sorry?
Why not?
Because I don't like the environment. I think it's very different about the environment of the poker tournaments. People it's gambling, and I don't like that part of the poker world. I would like to have a World Series in a, I don't know, in a beach, or maybe in a different world, part of the world, not a casino.
So, could you expand on why you just don't like the casino environment so much specifically?
For example, in Vegas, I don't like that in a lot of casinos people can smoke inside. I don't like that. I don't like. Sometimes it's hard when the alcohol it's free, so a lot of people it's like not in a good mood, and the energy. I don't like that. I don't like casinos.
Yeah,
It's funny because I'm always in a casino, but of course there are different casinos. But if I can change a thing, it will be that.
Yeah, interestingly, I don't really love casinos either. I love the card rooms. I love the way the card rooms feel. And
Exactly.
it's interesting that, like, in all these casinos, sort of like in a corner is this mind sport where people are battling against each other, thinking at these very high levels. And it's just like in the middle of all these carnival games of chance where they're all pretty much like rigged for us to lose. It's just this interesting juxtaposition. And yeah, I wish that I wish that poker rooms weren't limited in a lot of places to specifically casinos. And I know some places it's getting better and they're not. Like California is a little bit better. They do have table games, but Texas is a place right now that has only card rooms and no real casinos, which I think is pretty cool. But I mean, yeah, like why not just have convention centers for giant poker tournaments? I mean,
for example, in Brazil, they don't have casinos. So tournaments are in like hotels, like the convention centers of hotels.
Yeah.
So that's why I have that in mind. I went to that tournaments a lot. So that's why I think that it's great to be there than in a casino.
Yeah. Plus, I don't even think casinos really like poker that much.
Sure. Yeah. Also that. So
yeah.
Why?
they don't even really like their poker rooms. So like, what are we doing? If you could gift all poker players a book to read, what book would you choose and why?
Oh my God. I don't read, I didn't read a lot of poker books.
Doesn't have to be poker. Doesn't have to be poker.
Okay, great. So perfect. I would say Cosmos of Carl Sagan because I really like the universe and the science and everything, the origins.
You said Cosmos?
Yes.
Cosmos. I haven't read about it. Could you give some context?
It is a book about the Big Bang and the origin of the world, of the universe. Not the theory, because everything is a theory, but it's a scientific theory. And the way that it is written, it is amazing because he was a communicator also. So it is very important to understand this kind of difficult ideas about, for example, theory of the universe, written by a guy that he was very passionate and he was a communicator, like scientific communicator. So it is super, super easy to read and super interesting. And it was like, it blew my mind. So
awesome.
I really like that one.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it on the Kindle when we shut this down.
Yes, please. You will love it.
Communication, by the way, is just really important as a content creator, as any sort of person of influence, as a teacher. I think this is one of the major lessons I've learned as a private coach is you have to be able to communicate to the person you're trying to influence, else it's worthless, right? You're not giving them any value. And so I think from the student side too, it's just important to think about how you're communicating, how you're asking questions. It's something that like can really just elevate all the things around you when you effectively communicate with other people.
Let me say you're super good asking questions because this podcast is amazing for me. It is great to hear your questions. You are very good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Really.
Thank you very much.
I really like.
Let's see. If you could erect a billboard, every poker player's got to drive past on the way to the card room, because in this universe, the card room's separate from the casino. What does your billboard say?
I don't know what is billboard.
Oh,
sorry.
Billboard. It's you drive down the road and then big sign saying something on the sign.
Okay. Like a sign.
Yeah.
So and then I don't know how to answer this question.
Let me see.
Yes.
I'll show you the.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Yes, I know what you mean. So the question is, again.
You've got one of these signs. What message do you write on it for the people who are about to go play poker?
Great question. Oh my God. It would be something like learn about life, play poker.
Yeah, like poker is a good teacher for life. Something.
Yeah.
That's That's a good one. I think that's actually unique. I don't think anybody's used that billboard up. So there you go.
Oh my God. Great. I'm super happy. Yes, because poker is like life every time. So
Absolutely.
it would be also very good in marketing, I think, because it's like, oh my God, okay, I will try it.
Yeah, let's try this poker thing out. Maybe it'll help me live a better life. What wisdom would you like to share to the listener of the audience who's hell-bent on chasing poker greatness?
So hell-bent? Sorry,
I knew when I used the word, I was like, could have used him. Who's determined to chase poker greatness, be the best poker player that they can possibly be.
And like, this is an advice for me to be more friendly with yourself, because you're going to make a lot of mistakes, and that's it, and that's a part of the journey. So don't be super perfectionist as me, and let's keep going, keep learning, keep doing, keep watching videos, keep talking about hands, and that's it. And one day you will understand, not everything, but you will start to understand most of the things in a different way, because it is very hard. Poker is very hard. You have a lot of scenarios. So one day I think it is like, okay, I understand. And you will start a different part of that journey.
And I mean, self-compassion, the way that I frame it for the folks who struggle with self-compassion in my community is that, most of them have seen children. They're aware of children in there. They know that they exist, even if they don't have them themselves. But the way that I frame it is that if you had a kid who makes a mistake and is just devastated about this mistake that they've made, right? As we feel when we make a mistake playing poker. And this kid is just crying and comes up to you and is like, I didn't do my best. I did a horrible job. They're upset. How would you respond to this child, right? Like, would you say, yeah, you suck, kid. You did really awful, and you should be crying right now. You should cry more.
Yeah.
Right. Like, nobody would respond that way to a kid, right? You would hug them, you would comfort them, you would reassure them. And I find it interesting that when it's ourselves who are the embodiment of this child who's distraught and who is upset, that we don't show compassion to ourselves, that we say, what are you doing? Why are you so stupid? Why don't you do better? Why are you the worst? Right? And that's just it's not valuable. It's not something that is going to be a positive for your journey down the road. And so, like, to me, the only way to perform at a high level on a regular basis is to have self-compassion, forgive yourself, and just accept that you're flawed and you will make mistakes. And what can I learn from this? How can I do better moving forward? That's how you use these experiences as a teacher, and you don't just feel horrible about yourself all the time.
Super. That's a good point, because I find myself like super compassion with other people, with any other people, like with my mom, with my brother, with my boyfriend. I don't know. It is like, okay, no problem. Okay, let's relax. And with myself, I'm like, I don't know. I need to cut my hand when I don't know, I make a mistake, folding a hand or something like that.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's natural.
Yes.
It's very natural. What's a project you're working on right now that's near and dear to your heart?
Right now, well, I am streaming a lot. I'm streaming in a different way. As I said, I think that I learn a lot in Twitch and with myself, and I'm also learning to be more self-compassion. And I'm creating content on Twitch. I'm going to create different shows on Twitch with different people. So I'm always trying to have guests because I really, as you, I really like to share with
Yeah.
people and to talk with people and to know people. And then I'm also learning poker. Most than 1 year ago, I think I'm more focused, and I really want to travel to a live tournament. Probably I'm going to be on the World Series, and I really want to be on the circuits of the series soon. But we all know it is a difficult situation with the pandemic crisis. But for me, I'm super good like this in doing what I'm doing, and hopefully I will be doing this for, I don't know, but a lot of time, and creating new things always, because I really need to change every time.
I very much hope that the pandemic winds down and you get to travel to the WSOP and live poker becomes like a thing again, and it's not so divisive and scary and just, all the things. Like I really hope that changes, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And final question for you is, if the listener of the Chasing Poker Greatness podcast wants to learn more about you on the World Wide Web, where do they go?
To find me, you can find me everywhere with Pamela Balzano. So it will be twitch.tv Pamela Balzano or instagram.com Pamela Balzano. And I'm always on Instagram and Twitch. Also on Twitter, but mostly on Twitch, and then on Instagram. You're going to see my streamings. And on Instagram, I'm always trying to share also funny stories, maybe I don't know, different questions to the people. I share the answers, and it is a good way to learn about poker and to also know about how the poker world is. So if you want to follow me, you can do it.
And those links will be in the show notes of this episode as well, or the show page, I should say. And if the way that you describe your YouTube channel is the same way that you curate your Instagram content, then I'm sure you make for a great follow that is entertaining and creative, right?
And if you want to learn some Spanish, maybe. Well, in Twitch, I'm always speaking Spanish, but sometimes if someone is speaking English, I'm trying to of course, speak English a little bit. But yes, mostly in Spanish.
Well, thank you very much for your time and your energy. It's been a pleasure, and look forward to having you on sometime down the road, maybe when the pandemic shuts down at some live event, right? We can have like a live Chasing Poker Greatness or something.
Please. Thank you so much, Brad. You are very good doing this, and thank you in the name of all the community. It's very important for us to have this kind of content, so I'm super happy, and thank you so much, and keep going with that.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to Chasing Poker Greatness. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcast app. Go to chasingpokergreatness.com to get the newsletter, join the Greatness Village community, book a coaching session, or dive into the latest data-driven poker courses. Follow the show on Twitter @CPG Podcast.